Hello everybody and welcome to another ranking video. Today I am going to be ranking the top 20 basic abilities in the game, and no, Jedi Master Luke's is not one of them, but Galactic Legends are on the table since they don't actually have that impressive of basics, so you might not see many of them. Anyway, I'm going to be just judging. It's completely subjective. It's which one I think is the most useful in the variety of situations. There's nothing completely scientific about this, so I'm sure I'll miss some things, so I'd love to hear differing opinions as well. Starting off at rank 20, I don't know if I'll get complaints about this, but Ayla Sakura, I've always thought her basic is very nice. Kind of considering her unique in here, but she can stun someone and has a chance to call an assist. If It's only 35% chance, but you can still get an assist off a basic, which is not very common. If it is a Jedi, they're going to do 50% more damage. And if you run her on a team like Jedi Master Luke, she's a nice character to target with that special ability, granted ability, which calls basic. I think she has a pretty good basic. And number 19, this is mainly just because of damage and multiple hits, but Iden Versio, I'm going to give her number 19. Her basic, it starts with just a single tap, but if she has the ideal conditions, which is no leader tag on her allies, she does damage 3 more times, and then she can recover up to 15% health and protection, which is pretty nice. And once she's ramped up a bit, she does pretty great damage with it, and she's countering all the time. It's just a nice basic. And number 18, we got Jedi Master Yoda. This brings me back towards the beginning of my legit playthrough experience back in 2019 when I played for real. I played at the beginning of the game, and not super long. And this is going to do a lot of things. It inflicts potency down, but I don't really care about that. One, it's got great damage, and two, there's a couple things that could happen. If they're above 50% health, Yoda's going to gain 40% turn meter, which is what's going to happen most of the time. But if we're under 50% health, he gets offense up and defense penetration for 2 turns, which is really feeding into his kick as he can spread that to the rest of the team. I love the turn meter gain, so if you're using him under Jedi Master Luke, he's a great option to call to assist, as well as under JKR lead. The good thing about Jedi basics is you get the chance to use them a lot and choose who's going to do the basic, because a lot of the popular Jedi leads are calling assists most of the time. Number 17, we got Ahsoka Tano, and this is kind of biased because of her unique calling her to assist all the time under a Galactic Republic lead. But it's a dispel on a basic, it's constantly happening, and it can't be evaded even if they have foresight. Actually, technically, it can only not be evaded if they have foresight. It can be evaded if they have like evasion up, or they just have a good dodge chance. It can be dodged then, but if they have foresight, and this is very clutch. Also, if it's a critical hit, she's dispelling buffs on herself, debuffs on herself, and a random Galactic Republic ally. So it's a really jam-packed basic, which is why it comes in at rank 17, I think. Rank 16, we got Mara Jade, and Mara Jade uses her basic a lot, and usually she's with the Starkiller team, which makes a couple more things happen. She's inflicting daze on the basic for 2 turns, which is already nice. It's already double damage hit. And if Palpatine's your leader, which you usually want, he's called to assist. And if it's on a Starkiller team, that causes a chain reaction and causes Starkiller to assist as well. So Palpatine's basic is not on this list, but Starkiller's will be, just foreshadowing. So this is a fantastic basic, getting a lot going. It's almost like a swarm attack on a basic every time because of the team she's in. Number 15, we got Count Dooku, and this guy used to be the most annoying character in the whole game back when it started out. He was constantly counterattacking, and this basic was the most annoying thing. 1, it was slow, and 2, it's very powerful because it's a likely double tap, 50% if it's not Galactic Republic. If it is Galactic Republic, it's a 100% chance for a double tap. And each time he does the basic, he could either stun or ability block for 1 turn. So I don't really favor ability blocks on basics for this list if you're looking for like Vassal Lashawn. But the stun on a basic is really useful, and the fact that he has both ability block and stun on the basic is pretty great, and combined with the fact that he's countering all the time, it's just a really annoying basic to deal with, and also can't be countered or evaded. That's a very powerful basic, even though he's not such a powerful character anymore. Number 14, we got Admiral Piet. Similar thing going on compared to Ahsoka Tano, but it's much better. He's calling a random Empire ally to assist, and he's pretty much always with Empire. And then also, if there's any other allies with inevitable failure, they're called to assist as well. Usually this is just 1 character, but it could be multiple. So it actually ends up being kind of like a swarm attack, getting at least 2 to 3, at least 2 hits, up to 3, up to even 4 or 5, honestly, if you had inevitable failure on everyone. I don't know how you do that. But it's just a really powerful basic. Especially on the Imperial Trooper team, you often want to opt for the basic instead of the specials if you're using him, because it's much more likely to keep that turn meter train going and get a lot better damage with the team. Coming in at number 13, we got Dash Rendar, and he has some similar stuff going on. He does damage 3 times automatically on his basic, no conditions to it, just triple hit, and they're good hits too, and he has a lot of damage on him. And then for each critical hit, it calls another random prepared ally to assist. Even though they do 75% less damage, that's up to 3 assists if he's on his ideal team with Vander Chewbacca. That's a very powerful basic, and just even if that doesn't happen, even if he doesn't have his prepared squad with him, that's still a great hit. Brings me back to the days when he had his Super Datacron, he was just tearing people up with the plus 100% damage. So without that, just kind of normal damage, it is still something you want to worry about. There is no turn Dash is going to take that you're not scared. Coming in at number 12, and I'm not sure if I ranked her a little bit too high, but we got Shock T. It's mainly because her basic is a utility basic. It's not big damage, but it's dispelling on the target, and it's granting offense up to the whole team, which that is very nice. I love using her with Jedi Master Luke. She's my choice assister. If there's anyone without offense up, I'll call her. She's also dispelling. Jedi Knight Luke's also on the team. He can dispel. But this is also a great option. I love the dispel. It is so useful. And really, offense up, it's really just utility, not about damage, because it's pretty pathetic. It's a wet noodle basic. On the other hand, number 11 is not a wet noodle basic. We got Ki-Adi-Mundi, and I'm kind of assuming he's going to be in his Ataru form, the default form. It's because if he's in that form, he attacks a second time, and he does crazy damage with it. Another bonus about attacking again, as opposed to dealing damage twice, is if they have Foresight up, you're going to get rid of the Foresight with the first hit, and then on the second hit, you actually deal damage. He's also amazing to call with Jedi Master Luke, because on the first hit, he just does the special ability damage, that true damage, but on the second hit, it's just a normal basic for him. So he's also amazing to call with Jedi Master Luke, but he's great on kind of any Jedi team. You really want him assisting, because he does just amazing damage. Now we're down to the top 10, starting with Commander Luke. You won't know the mods, I just did Great Raid and used some of his mods. But his basic, Destined Strike, it's a utility basic, but it also does good damage. So it's just a great option with him. You inflict speed down and defense down for 2 turns. If you already had either of those, something else happens. If they have speed down, you remove 30% turn meter, which is awesome. And then if they have defense down, inflict stun, which is also awesome. And combined with the fact that he's giving turn meter to the team for debuffs inflicted and resisted debuffs, that makes the basic an amazing option, and a lot of times I'm just using the basic anyway over any of the specials. So CLS, awesome basic. Coming in at number 9, we got BT1, and this is more of a simple basic. It is just about the damage. He does a triple hit, but he hits really hard. He also inflicts damage over time for 2 turns, which, I mean, it's something, but really it's just about the damage. And he can get called to assist by his buddy 000. I've really just been enjoying using him with Jabba, so he earns spot number 9 on the list. Maybe a little high, but it is great damage. Number 8, we got Boushh Leia. And this is also a function of how often she is assisting. But her basic, it inflicts thermal detonator for 2 turns, and something in her kit, I think, can make that 2 sometimes. Anyway, I forget. But if her ally in the leader slide Hut Cartel, which is Jabba, that's where you run her, it can't be evaded. If he's a bounty hunter, which is Jabba, inflict defense down for 2 turns. And if it's a smuggler, which is Jabba, attack again. So she has a double attack on it. A double tap, and she's inflicting thermal detonators. Really makes that team run. She is the cornerstone of that team, in my opinion. And the thermals, when they do blow up, it is not a pretty sight for the other team. Just a massive impact that basic has. So that's why she is number 8. Number 7, we got our first Galactic Legend appearance, and it is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. His basic Brutal Assault, it's mainly just bad damage, but he does inflict buff immunity for 2 turns, which is not negligible. That is a good buff. If they're stunned, he's doing damage 3 times, so it is a massive hit because he has so much damage to start with. And also, he's getting Siphon on his own turn, which is going to help him turn that Siphon into tons more stats, making his basic even more formidable. but it is still mainly just about damage, which means, and it takes some ramping up, so he's only number 7, which is still pretty good. Han Solo coming in at number 6. A lot of what his basic offers is mixed up with his unique, which is kind of semantics to me, but it's kind of why he didn't get a little bit higher, is because it is so tied to that unique. If it's the first turn of every match, he's shooting first with his basic only and stunning. But the stun is not in the description of the basic. What is in the basic itself is if they have less than 50% turn meter, do 75% more damage, which is awesome. Otherwise, they're removing 35% turn meter. Those are two very powerful mechanics. So if you attack the first time and you're reducing turn meter, and then the second time, he also double taps, which is part of his unique. It's not part of the actual basic, but since it is hitting twice, technically every time, if you do have that Zeta, it does a lot of damage, and the second hit can be close to as strong as the first hit, because it's normally 50% less damage, but if they don't have a lot of turn meter, it is doing a lot. It's an awesome basic. I love Han Solo, number 6 for him. Top 5 now, and number 5 is General Skywalker. This also feels a little bit cheating because his basic is so tied up in his uniques, and also his basic is actually a special as well. Telekinesis is categorized as a special ability, but he is going to hit twice. He's going to hit with this basic first and then telekinesis second. If he has ability block, he's going to do this twice. It's extra defense penetration. If he has all allies 5 or first, that's 195% defense penetration, which is awesome. But I'm also kind of considering the uniques here, because if he's critting, he's increasing cooldowns. If they don't have full protection, he's also reducing their max health. And since he hits twice, he's going to reduce their max health by 20% and then 20% again, which is crazy impactful. So it's kind of taking from his uniques, but there's no General Skywalker basic on a character that doesn't have those uniques, if that makes sense. So he still gets number 5 for me. Number 4, getting to the absolute cream of the crop, I have Jedi Knight Luke, and some people might say, hey, Gas is better than Luke on his basic, but his basic does a lot of sneaky stuff. What's pretty obvious is it's dispelling, which is really nice. It's got great damage. They're a tank, they're doing extra true damage. He's also kind of harming them by reducing their crit damage by 10%. That stacks. It doesn't say there's a cap, so you can reduce their crit chance through the floor. You can make it deal theoretically less damage than just a non-crit, but he's also getting 10% max protection up to 100% till the end. And if you look at his protection pool, it is not trivial. I'm even missing the circle on him, which is a protection circle, and he still has 100,000 protection. He becomes an absolute tank after you do that basic lot, so I think he well deserves number 4. Number 3, people were probably waiting for it, thought it might be a contender for number 1, and it was. It's Fennec Shand, and her basic just does so much damage. It hits 5 times. I don't think anyone else hits 5 times, and it's not a light hit 5 times. It is heavy. I've seen her hit like 60,000 crit for each individual hit, so it's like almost 300,000 damage, because not all of them are crits sometimes, I think. She doesn't have a high crit chance, so that doesn't happen often. But this is what allows her to kill Lord Vader all the time. It's her basic. It's incredible. And it deals 50% more damage if they have no protection, which is why she's so tailored for that Lord Vader matchup. She gains offense up for 1 turn if she has seasoned veterans, so it's just an incredible attack. Literally just so much power. And the fact that it hits 5 times can also really help you get contracts off in a lot of situations as well. Number 2, Starkiller, and this is absolutely a contender for number 1 as well. His basic is incredible. So to start, it deals damage to the target enemy twice, and it's great damage from him. But if it's his turn, he inflicts shock, which is an amazing debuff. And then it's an AoE basic. There are not AoE basics in this game. They're all kind of conditional. If they are, like Talzin is an AoE basic. I'm drawing a blank on any others, but it is not a light hit. Like, doing the basic on his turn does so much damage. And I actually use him a lot under like Supreme Leader Kylo in Territory Battle, and it really helps charge up the ultimate. And when he's unleashed, he's reducing his cooldowns, his special ability cooldowns by 1, which is incredible. This is just absolutely one of the best basics in the game. Great argument for number 1 as well. And number 1, the absolute best basic in the game, kind of just going with my gut here. It's all about damage. It is Dark Trooper. He deals damage 1 time for each stack of Dark Trooper squad he has, which most of the time, if you're playing right, is 4. And each of those 4 hits is crazy. He doesn't crit unless he has advantage, and even without the critting, he does so much damage. It's insane. And then when he gets advantage and does the basic, you can one-shot almost anybody. This is what made the Trooper squad a Galactic Legend killer when they had the right turn meter start and other circumstances. Just amazing. And with how often he actually gets his basic off, I had to give it the best basic in the game. And it's really it's like the most impressive thing about his kit, which is kind of weird. Like, that's one of the things when you read a new kit, it's impossible to tell how good it's actually going to be until you get into it. I don't think anyone was expecting his basic to be as impactful as it is when he first came out. But Dark Trooper, hats off, you have the best basic in the game. That's all, and I'm not going to do an official honorary mentions, but I did want to point out that Galactic Legends didn't really make the cut, except Supreme Lord Kylo. None of their basics are that impressive. Most of them are single hits. I mean, Lord Vader could get pretty good, but to start the match, not very impressive. Rey, Jedi Master Kenobi, ability block, whatever. Jabba the Hutt is charging his ultimate, but still didn't make the top 20. Anyway, let me know what you think. This was not graded on a curve for non-Galactic Legends. So it is very interesting to me that, in my opinion, I only picked 1 Galactic Legend for the top 20. I love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you did enjoy, and sub if you haven't already. See you later.